Okay, so I have some new information for you guys about the Amanda Ungaro and Paulo Zampoli situation. If you're behind, watch the playlist that this video is attached to. So as we know, Paulo Zampoli is the former modeling agent who brought Melania to the United States for Donald Trump back in the 90s and has been in business with Donald Trump since the 90s. They did the whole modeling agencies together. They did the whole real estate world together. Paulo's a United Nations diplomat. He was a part of the first Trump administration, and he is very involved in the current administration. Right, okay, we've been talking about this guy since July. We know. As you guys know, I recently made contact with Amanda Ungaro, and we are now in communication on a regular basis. We know Amanda Ungaro is the mother of Paulo Zampoli's child, who he began grooming at the age of 15 years old. She was a victim of Jeffrey's operation. She was on Jeffrey's plane at just 16 years old. We knew that she was on Jeffrey's plane at 17 years old, per the flight logs that were released by the DOJ in 2021. But since speaking to Amanda, she has confirmed that she was on Jeffrey's plane at the age of 16, earlier than we even realized. Amanda has known John Casablancas since she was 13 years old, and we know Paulo actually grew up with John Casablancas, and John Casablancas is the man who inspired Paulo to become a modeling agent. Amanda was a victim and witness to Jeffrey's operation. She has a lot of information about the inner workings of this operation. She was on Jeffrey's plane with Jean-Luc Brunel. She has a very unique perspective into this entire situation. And as we know and have been reporting on, in June of 2025, Amanda was wrongfully arrested and held in an ICE detention facility for nearly 4 months. After being held for that period of time, she was deported to Brazil without any kind of due process or trial. Amanda has a fantastic team of attorneys who are currently helping her get justice for her wrongful arrest, her wrongful deportation, and the parental kidnapping and alienation of the child that she shares with Paulo. Those are all ongoing proceedings, and on the 21st of this month, Amanda will testify in front of the Supreme Court in New York City. While acknowledging she has years of legal battles ahead of her, we hope that the 21st begins a series of wins for her and her future. With permission from Amanda's legal counsel, she has been given the permission to speak on a wide range of things that have happened to her and are currently happening to her. We can't talk about everything right now, but after some of the upcoming legal proceedings that she has, she will be able to say more. So I'm going to share with you some information that Amanda has given me permission and her legal team have given permission for me to share with you guys. What I'm about to share with you is Amanda's own words, so I'm going to be reading from a screen so I can make sure I say everything correctly. And if you guys want to read this stuff yourself and see receipts and everything like that, you can go over to my Substack. I've already laid it all out and it's published on my page. So I'm going to share this message from Amanda with you guys, and then after that I'm going to go over a few different names of figures that Amanda has given me. And these are figures who are aware of what's going on within our government and are assisting Paulo in his quest to silence and seek revenge against Amanda. Okay, from Amanda Ungaro, 1/18/2026. This is not family drama. This is a criminal operation. I have witnessed many things since I was a teenage girl who became swept up in this nightmare. I have photos to prove the physical abuse I have experienced at the hands of Paulo. I have proof of his longtime substance use issues. I have information and proof of his fraudulent business dealings and millions of dollars worth of insurance fraud that Paulo has committed. I have proof that me and my family have faced harassment, threats, and blackmail from Paulo for years. I have information and proof of government and public officials being bribed by Paulo. I have proof Paulo began trying to date me when I was 15 years old, and it is true that I was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane as a teenager. I was only 16 years old the first time I was put on his plane. I have proof Paulo abandoned his own mother in a nursing home in Italy after stealing her jewelry and other valuable items. If a man can rip away his own mother's dignity without a second thought, you can imagine what Paulo is capable of. I faced a false arrest based on manufactured charges. I was forced to stay in an ICE detention facility for months before I was deported to Brazil, where I have been fighting for justice. My paperwork and history of work for the United Nations did not stop the government from treating me like an animal. For 3 years before I was wrongfully arrested, I supported myself and my son without financial assistance from Paulo. In the years leading up to my arrest, Paulo and I did not have a romantic relationship, following an affair that he had in Washington, D.C. Paulo did call me his wife, and we were together for 19 years, but legally we were never married. During that time, Paulo was only a present father to fit his narrative and to appear to the public as a loving father. I did not keep our son away from him and allowed him to still see his father. I moved to Miami with my son to enter the workforce, really for the first time outside of my 10 years of work for the United Nations. My attempt to be independent and create distance between myself and Paulo enraged him, and everything got worse, especially when I filed for full custody. The court awarding me full custody would mean Paulo would have to pay years of unpaid child support and continue to financially support our son into adulthood. This was not something that fit Paulo's narrative. something he is desperate to control. I was being harassed relentlessly. My family and friends were harassed as well and even followed in some cases. Shortly after, I began working a job at a medical assistant training school that specializes in minimally invasive procedures. I was associated with a med spa in Miami. Many anonymous complaints began to flood in. The man that I was arrested with was my romantic partner at the time and is now my husband. He is an awarded plastic surgeon of 30 years who conducts teaching seminars across the world. 3 months before being arrested and booked in June, police showed up unannounced to our home. Police came into our home and took me and my partner out in handcuffs. We were thrown against the wall outside of our home and neighbors began to come outside because of the police presence. They were shocked, we were shocked. Neither of us have a criminal record, yet we were handled with extreme force, humiliated, and made a spectacle out of. We were humiliated. We waited for an hour for the police to get a search warrant. They destroyed our home and found nothing. The officers then went to my workplace and were there for hours. They confiscated equipment properly approved, lasers by regulatory agencies, medical documents, and patient records. They did all this searching for evidence of criminal activity that simply did not exist. Then June came and my partner, now husband, and I were arrested. No one else from the training center or spa were arrested. I was picked up by ICE officers and taken to a detention center. No bail was possible. I felt so broken and confused. I remained imprisoned in that ICE detention center in Miami for 3.5 months, while increasingly absurd accusations were piled on and have yet to be proven. One of the charges placed against me included that I was practicing medicine illegally, which is an absurd lie that the state of Florida has yet to provide evidence to my legal team of. Nothing that my husband and I have been arrested for has been proven in court, yet I was deported without trial. I was not given the opportunity to prove that the charges against me were fabricated. My fate was decided before they put the handcuffs on me. When I arrived in Brazil, I began the legal process of fighting for custody of my son, and for a moment I was successful. Giovanni was brought to Brazil briefly after my deportation, per court orders, before Paulo illegally removed him from my care and the country, causing me to file a kidnapping complaint. I am still fighting for my son to be rightfully returned to my custody. So that is what Amanda has to share with you guys, what she has permission to share with you guys right now. So these are some of the figures who Amanda has named as people who have been key figures in assisting Paulo Zampoli in terrorizing her. Amanda has shown me documentation, warrants, court orders, and email correspondence that prove the undeniable awareness that each of the figures who I'm going to mention know what Paulo's motivations really are. I put some of these receipts in my Substack article and I'll also overlay them on this video. Any receipts that aren't included right now will be included whenever we get the green light from Amanda's attorneys. So the first person that Amanda has named is Pam Bondi. Remember that Paulo Zampoli posted this photo of himself, his new girlfriend, the ambassador of Panama, and Pam Bondi, and he captioned this photo. This was less than 48 hours after Amanda was arrested, Lady Justice. We already knew that Pam Bondi and Paulo Zampoli were close as they both work in the administration, but the 2026 committee assignments for the Kennedy Center were just released, and Paulo Zampoli and Pam Bondi are going to be working even closer as they are both trustees on the board of the Kennedy Center this year. And I know Paulo was on the board of the Kennedy Center in 2025, but Pam Bondi also being on the board of the Kennedy Center, I did not know that was a thing. I don't know if she was quietly put on the board in 2025, but 2026, Pam Bondi is also involved in the Kennedy Center. I have personally seen email communications that show that Pam Bondi, her office, and other figures around her whom she has appointed, including Jay Clayton, whom she appointed to handle the release of the Jeffrey files, are very aware of this situation. And Pam Bondi actually awarded the lead detective who led Amanda's arrest, raid of her home and her workplace, and transfer to ICE custody, Detective Kenneth Seeley, with an Attorney General Award for his work as a detective back in 2019. More on that detective in a moment. Another name that Amanda gave me was Florida State Prosecutor Stacey Cleveland. This is the prosecutor who initially brought charges against Amanda and her now husband. As a Florida prosecutor, Stacey Cleveland would have rapport with the Attorney General's office. Pam Bondi was Attorney General from 2011 to 2019. Stacey Cleveland often gives teaching seminars to Florida police officers, specifically in the Miami-Dade County, which is where the Aventura Police Department is located. And the Aventura Police Department is the police department who handled the arrest of Amanda. And just as a side note, Pam Bondi has also been featured in the Aventura Police Department's newsletters. And like, just to understand the weakness of the case that Stacey Cleveland's office has against Amanda Ungaro, the only piece of evidence of Amanda's crimes that they have shared with Amanda's legal team is a singular photograph of Amanda touching an FDA-approved laser machine. Not using the laser on a patient, her hand was placed on the machine. Amanda did nothing illegal whatsoever, which is probably why she was deported instead of given due process and a trial. I can only speak for myself when I say I most certainly would not want to be on the prosecuting end of this case when I know what kind of evidence that the defense is holding. The next figure who Amanda named, who we just talked about briefly, is Detective Kenneth Seeley of the City of Aventura Police Department, badge number 289. Like I just said before, Kenneth Seeley is the lead detective who handled the arrest and the raiding of Amanda and her partner's home and workplace. Here's a copy of part of the search warrant. As you can see, Kenneth Seeley's name is right on the search warrant. And as someone who doesn't read search warrants frequently, are these agencies named normal to see on a search warrant? I believe this is trying to say like all these agencies are going to assist and comply with the search warrant in this investigation that they're leading. The director of United States Secret Service, the director of Homeland Security, the director of the FDA. Like, is that normal to put on? Is that just standard to go on a search warrant? Very curious. Anyone who knows, please let me know. But anyway, here's a copy of the search warrant. You can see who the detective handling this case was. Detective Kenneth Seeley is very decorated within Aventura Police Department. Like I mentioned before, he was personally honored by Pam Bondi. She gave him an Attorney General award while she was Attorney General of Florida back in 2019. Like most police departments in America, the Aventura Police Department does not have a squeaky clean reputation. 2023 alone, 2 Aventura police officers were arrested for crimes that included SA, kidnapping, and aggravated assault. With all that being said, there is still a lot more to share, but I'm going to leave it here for now. Again, if you want to kind of like visualize all of this information and look at it all in one place, you can go over to my Substack. I already have it all laid out with the receipts, the links, everything. As Amanda is able to, through permission from her legal team, she will share more. And I can assure you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Remember, Amanda Ungaro has known John Casablancas, the man who inspired Paulo to become a modeling agent, longtime friend and business partner of Donald Trump, and known child predator since she was 13 years old. Amanda Ungaro has information that the world needs to hear. She has proof that the world needs to see. She has receipts that the world needs to see. I said this in my Substack article and I'll say this now. I do not think I will ever forgive the mainstream media or Congress, mind you, for ignoring this situation for so long. That's all I have for you guys right now. We just have like so much to talk about. I'll see you guys tomorrow.